With so much delight to have you right here on the desk this evening. It's a wonderful day, and of course, so many things happening. We need to talk about it. It's worth talking about. The journalist perspective to the different stories. Sometimes people see us put forth the stories on newspaper, we put it up on radio, on television, on social media. But then there are more perspectives to what you see on the media space, in the media space as the case may be. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Today, on the desk, I will have two gentlemen join me on the desk. Both of them are journalists. That's why I said journalist perspective to the various stories that we have in the media today. But then, one thing is this. The issue of insecurity in the country is something that a lot of people cannot stop talking about. Then, moving away from there, we will also look at our federal government's attempt to acquire 24 fighter jets. All right, part of curbing the security situation, the insecurity situation in the country. That's, by the way, we'll look at that. Then, the United States of America has added Nigeria also to the list of countries restricted. I'm talking about restricted countries. A lot of other countries, like a number of them, were added to the list, and Nigeria is inclusive. What are you thinking? Is your thought as good as mine? Well, when we return, we'll talk about that with my guest. I don't want to give my own perspective to the story right now, but then I know you are thinking something. Is that what I'm thinking? All right. Probably because of some of the situation that they have been investigating. Then don't also forget about the petrol battlefield. It has been from one battle to the other. Dangote refinery today, Anupeng tomorrow. Now it is between Dangote and someone in that industry, and that is the NMDPRA boss. Have you heard that story? Don't worry, we'll give you more details, all right? We'll give you a perspective to that story on the desk today. And of course, Donald Trump, he said, according to Aliko Dangote, he said Donald Trump is very happy about the Dangote refinery. Are you thinking why? Should he be happy? Is it because he loves Nigerians? Is it because the fare has reduced? Is it because Dangote has reduced the pump price of petroleum in Nigeria? Is it because of the fact that Nigerians are worried about the issue of our refineries not working? Why is Donald Trump happy about the refinery put up by Dangote? We'll look at that too, and a lot of other stories that we will be looking at today on the desk. We might not be able to take all the stories that I have outlined additional to the ones that we have that I have not even mentioned, but then there is a perspective to every story. And these perspectives come from different persons based on how they view the various headlines. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, the desk return, and my guest will join me in the studio as we go fully into the discussion for the day. Very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
as always, it's a pleasure to have you join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss. And of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program.
Welcome back from that break. Let's get on the desk. You know, when it's a desk, it means one or two persons will be discussing, analyzing, and putting different perspective to different stories. Joining me on the conversation live in the studio here is Comrade James Ezema, a journalist. It's good to have you on the desk. It's been a while anyway.
Thank you very much for having me. It has been a while, you know. Sometimes it's good to be on holiday, and then you
I think I love that kind of holiday. Your holiday came.
Yeah.
All right. And more holidays still coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Comrade James.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Also joining us online is another journalist, and of course he is also someone that is going to add his voice to the conversation, and that is Polo Ehis Lane. It's good to have you join us on the program this evening. Ehis.
Good evening, Mr. Ramsey. It's always a pleasure, and also it's a privilege joining you on the program this beautiful evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, let me get started with you now, Ehis. I want to look at the first conversation, which is the federal government's initiative or maybe plans, let's use the word plans, to acquire 24 fighter jets for 1.2 billion euro. What do you think about that? Can we say it's a welcome development? Can we say it's long overdue? Can we say, well, this is too much money?
Thank you, Mr. Ramsey. The first time I saw that story, for me, what came to my mind that this is a misappropriation of priority at this point in time. I understand the fact that the government said that the excuse is due to the security going down in the country, from the northeast, north central, and some parts of the south as well as southwest. The fact remains, in a country where poverty rate is on a very high rate, and you talk about the power purchase of Nigerians is very low. When you talk about businesses closing up every day as the year goes down, you start asking yourself questions. Is that what, talking about the acquisition of war aircraft, is that the major thing the government have to do at this point in time? I'm not trying to say they shouldn't fight insecurity, but there are other ways to go about it, especially when you say this is the reason why you are getting this stuff, or you're trying to fight insecurity in the country. We are not fighting. We are not fighting an external war, as the case may be. We are not in a position of an Iraq or an Iran-Israel battle. This is an internal issue that a lot of people believe that, if well handled, can be quelled. Good example, we saw what happened since the new Minister of Defense came on board, talking about General Musa retired. He has been playing a key role. We saw some people, some of these.
Okay, yeah, talking about
we just believe all these things will not be. We are not supposed to be talking about getting spending over talking about over 1.2 billion euros to acquire war jet and the like. And I saw one of the jet acquired. This is the highest ever. Talking about the amount it was acquired for, is the highest Nigeria's ever acquired in the history of Nigeria. Talking about one of the war jet acquired by the Nigerian government, and this is a government that have come out to tell us that there's no money, that Nigeria should be patient, that things are going to get better. This was coming from the president. That's sometime last year or early this year, when I was talking about we are going through there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, that we should be patient and all that. Nigerians are suffering. A lot of things are going bad, but what the government think is right is to spend heavy amount of money to acquire aircraft. For me, I see as a total operational priority. That's not what Nigerians need at this point in time. Talking about fighting security, there are other ways to go around it, not by spending a lot of money to acquire such gadgets, or talking about aircraft for insecurity. For me, it is totally wrong. It is totally wrong.
Okay, so for you, it is a misplaced priority because we are not fighting Iran-Iraq war or Israel-Palestinian war.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is not. We are not into it. It's not a full-scale war. It is an inward issue, of which people have said that you can approach it through using the talking about the guerrilla warfare approach, or also we spoke about the other day. The president spoke about giving state government the go-ahead to create state their own security apparatus. Talking about state-owned security apparatus. I think these are ways to go about it, but not going overboard by spending over 1.2 billion euros to acquire such shares. So for me, it is totally overboard. For me, it is not what we should be talking about at this point in time. There are other things that need urgent attention. Talking about the power purchase, the power purchase of Nigerians. Talking about the health sector, even the educational sector is in comatose as we speak at this point in time. We talk about inflation in the country is getting to another level, and the thing the government is taking is how to acquire, or rather, they went on to acquire expensive aircraft, war jet, and the likes. For me, that is totally overboard for me.
All right, thank you. I'll get back to you. Just stay on the line. Let me talk to Comrade James right here. We are not fighting Iran-Iraq, Israel-Palestinian war. Therefore, according to Polo Ehislane, he said, we don't need to expend all of this. There are better or wiser ways to go about the security situation in the country. Do you differ in opinion?
Well, you see, one of the major challenges that we face as a country, one of them is, like he said, the issue of misplaced priorities. We don't really know how to rank our priorities. We don't really know how to make the major the issue. But most times you see that we are majoring on the minor and then neglecting the major, and that is the problem that we have. You see, in Nigeria, under the late President Muhammad Buhari administration, in fact, between 2015 and 2021, we acquired about 34 fighter jets.
34, and they're about adding 24.
About 34. But the issue is, that's 32 fighter jets from 2015 to July 2021. 32 fighter jets, including the Super Tucano aircraft. Now, at the end of it, did the insecurity reduce? The answer is no. You know, people think that the problem of insecurity in Nigeria is lack of equipment. It's not true.
So what's the problem?
The problem of insecurity in Nigeria is as a result of internal sabotage within our security operations. It's internal sabotage by some people who give information to the bandits and the Boko Harams and all manner of insurgents. Internal sabotage by officials, top level officials who would not act on intelligence. Internal sabotage because some people who are not supposed to be recruited into our security system have been recruited. So these are the issues that we are dealing with, not the issue of equipment. We don't have equipment problem in the Nigerian military. These ones are beyond the ones that the Nigerian Air Force is showcasing to us as locally made drones, locally made jets and things like that. These are not the all kinds of armored personnel carriers, different kinds of models that we are producing locally. The ones that we are getting from car manufacturing companies like Kinosun and Co. locally. Then the ones they are bringing from outside. So our problem is not about equipment.
Okay.
Our problem is dealing with the issue of internal sabotage.
All right, dealing with the issue of internal sabotage is the problem that we have, and not acquiring more sophisticated fighter jets. We had a number, like numbering 32, according to my guest in the studio here, and 24 more to be acquired. Despite the 32 that we had, the situation still deteriorated, but now they want to acquire more. Is that going to solve the problem? My guest, the both of them have said, well, this is a misplaced priority. Now let's talk about the issue of restricting Nigeria, all right, by the United States of America. The first time it was about declaring Nigeria as a country of particular concern, which generated a lot of heat. Some persons said, well, Nigeria is a sovereign state. Some people said Nigeria has issues. There are security situations, Christian genocide, which some persons didn't want to hear at all. Some persons felt, well, it's going to stop there. But the Congress has been on, and delegates were sent to Nigeria. Only for Nigerians, just a few days ago, just yesterday, between yesterday and today, for it to be appearing in the media that the United States have added Nigeria to travel restriction list. What does this speak to us as a nation?
I'm saying, you're talking about that. For sure, you get to understand this is actually as a result of the can say the posts talk about the product, or I say the actions that the ripple effects. That's the right word to use. The ripple effects of the journey of the visitation of the congressman talking about Riley Moore, who came to the country recently. I remember going through watching Fox the other day. He was giving a report about what he saw and what he experienced coming to Nigeria, especially the northern part of the country, where this insecurity has been on a high rate. And he said he has not experienced this in his lifetime, that this is the worst he has ever experienced, especially when you look at the fact that Nigeria is not known as a war country, in quotes. We are not fighting a full-scale war, and you see the number of people in the IDP camps. You can see a lot of destruction that have gone down. You see a lot of people who have been killed due to one factor or the other. As much as the US president came out to say Christian genocide, a lot of people kicked against it and all that. But the fact remains, this is simply the ripple effect of that trip made by Riley Moore. And when he got back to the US, he didn't even have something good to say about what was happening. And in fact, it was more like what we were trying to cover came open, and it was very glaring. It was very, very glaring. So this is simply the ripple.
If the ripple effect of what they are visiting, this is part of their resolution.
And I'm talking about.
Yes, go ahead.
It's the ripple effect. The restriction, and it is according to what was released recently. It's some persons are exempted. Talking about especially the good example, those like athletes, intellectuals, or those that are of.
Okay, there were exemptions for some persons in that situation, and of course, I spoke with someone. Someone spoke to me earlier today, and he was so worried about the fact that he's even supposed to embark on a trip to the United States. The visa, everything, his ticket, everything is ready. Oh, all right. You can continue.
If it could be fast, I think it will scale through, because this came on board recently, I think yesterday, and I think before it will be really brought into full implementation, I think it will take some days, and that's what I think. But talking about the fact, those that are exempted, as I made mention, we have the likes of those that already have visa with them, talking about the visa holders. We also have those that are certain persons, like those, like I did mention, athletes, diplomas.
Okay, the restriction, some people were restricted, okay, and some other persons were given exemption, maybe because of the kind of position they are holding in the society, like athletes and all of that.
Exactly. Yeah. But let's make it clear also, Nigeria is not the only one that have been restricted. When you talk about those for the partial restrictions, we have 15 other countries, you understand, the likes of Benin, Angola, and the likes. But let's talk more about Nigeria. I think it is high time we find ourselves in a very, very I don't want to, I'm trying to be careful with the word I'm using, but it's quite shameful we find ourselves in this position at this point in time. Nigeria, a lot of people do believe Nigeria is the giant of Africa. We ought to be respected. I remember watching a video when Tafawa Balewa, the former Prime Minister of Nigeria in the 60s, visited the United States. It was, you could see the royal guard, you could see the respect and honor given to the president, and also Nigerians traveling outside the country as of then. But right now, the opposite is the case, and I would just have to say our government, or rather our leaders, have not played a key role in redeeming the way the world sees Nigeria. They've not really done well, and with what just transpired recently, you get to understand that you just have to be very, very careful. We saw what happened in 2001, when the United States were somehow careless in dealing with those in the Middle East, and what brought about the September SARS event, September 11th, 2001. I think that's what they are trying to curtail at this point in time. That's why they are bringing about these restrictions, full restrictions and partial restrictions to some countries out there. And if you look at it, it's like Africa is really, really affected. A lot of countries from Africa are affected. I spoke about Benin Republic, Zimbabwe, Zambia. It goes on and on.
So it's not only Nigeria that has been affected, as a matter of fact, not just Nigeria.
If you look at the list, you see most countries out there, most countries in the list are from Africa. We have a lot, a little from we have the likes of the Dominican Republic, which is not in Africa. Talking about one of the Caribbean countries right there. But besides that, we just have more from Africa.
So, in your own opinion, Polo, in your own opinion, you feel it's a ripple effect, or maybe as a result of the visit of the congressman?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
All right. Sure. All right. Hold it there. Hold it. Let me speak to Comrade. Comrade, can we say, well, the visit of Riley Moore and his team has resulted to this restriction based on what their observation and the outcome of their visit?
Well, I'm not sure it's exactly as a result of the visit, but because you see, one of the mistakes we make is to think that the only information that America has about Nigeria is from some of the visits and the reports. The American security intelligence, they have the information on Nigeria. The only thing some of these visits do for us is a kind of to show us that we are not doing what we are doing arbitrarily. We are doing it based on informed position. So these people were just coming to confirm to us that what America is doing, they are not doing it just because they don't like blacks. No, they are doing it because this is what is the reality that is on ground. About 2 U.S. National Guards were shot. The officials were shot sometime near the White House around November, and an immigrant from Afghanistan, who I think is one of the suspects, in the case. So, and Trump is U.S. America first kind of policy is what he has. So he wants to protect the country. It's not every country that you see. They're not like African countries where the death of one person does not mean anything. The death of 200 people does not mean anything. That singular act of a soldier being killed by an immigrant is one of the things. They will go a long way, go all out to ensure that they prevent a reoccurrence. It's not like Nigeria where they will kill 200 people. They say no, it is not up to the number that was killed during the last administration. No, these people don't count human lives the way we count them. They value lives. So despite the high level of criminality in some of these countries, what the difference between us and them is that you commit a crime, you get arrested, you get punished. But in Nigeria, you commit a crime, sometimes the government will get you rewarded by bringing you and calling it rehabilitation and reintegration into society and things like that. They will not even give you money, sponsor your education, sponsor your trip abroad and things like that. So this is the way we treat crime in Nigeria. But in United States, they don't treat crime that way. Crime is a crime. If you commit a crime, you go in for it. And then you can't commit a crime and run away forever. You might be smart enough to have run away, but it's just a matter of time. You will be caught. But in Nigeria, you just disappear, and that is the end of the business. Once after a week or two, nobody remembers you, nobody thinks about you, and nobody is after you. So the manhunt will just last for a few days, and that is the end of it. Unless people begin to make it an issue for discussion, otherwise everybody forget and the government itself will forget. But America is not like that. The American society is a society where the people, where the government itself don't play with the life of an American. So you saw how Donald Trump sent special forces to come down to Nigeria just because of one individual that was kidnapped, and then they rescued this individual and they took this individual back to the country, and then we only knew about the operation when Donald Trump was hailing them for a successful operation, and that is how it happened. That was the same thing that happened in Afghanistan when Osama bin Laden was taken off. They did not know what actually transpired until the operation had been completed. That is how America operates, and that is how security operations should be. It's not like a security operation in Nigeria where people will start celebrating before a rescue is taking place. All right. 315 students were taken, and were already the National Security Advisor was telling us that those girls are doing fine in the bush. How can somebody be doing fine in the bush? So these are some of the things that how we take security issues for granted, and at the end of it, we end up not tackling security with the vigor that is required.
So invariably, you're trying to say, well, all of these situations that you've pointed might have contributed to the reason why this happened.
Sure.
All right. As a matter of fact, I think Ahiz is on the line, but then before we bring Ahiz in, I know, Ahiz, can you hear me?
Can hear you.
All right, let's talk about the petrol battlefield. You know, that's how it was on the paper.
That's the hottest story in the country right now.
The hottest story, because I even saw, okay, was it on your timeline when they said, well, when somebody like Dangote is making this kind of move, you should know what it means. Then let's look at the petrol battlefield. what do you think about this situation? Because already the anti-graft agency is wedging into it, and I know the federal government would not just be quiet, because some persons are saying, well, this should be investigated. Some persons are saying, well, this is a fight between just two elephants. It might not affect the grant so much. But then your own perspective to the whole situation.
I just have to say it's a welcome development. No one saw this coming. In fact, a lot of persons are saying they can't believe that the almighty Dangote can become an activist all of a sudden. Looking at the things he's bringing like clear how do I put it, like clear spots points right there in respect to Mr. Farouk, how he has been so extravagant in office. And this is contrary to what we saw many years ago in Nigeria, where civil servants live a civil life for real, not an extravagant life. Because you just have to say he's still a civil servant. Talking about the NND Bible, he's working for the government, and having someone spend $5 million for his children, secondary school, we're not even talking about university. That is really, really crazy. You just have to see, just to tell you what happened. So a lot of people are looking at it for the point of witch hunting, because probably the government, or actually the government, or rather you say those in NNDPRA or whatever body it is against Dangote Refinery and all that. That's why he's saying this. The fact is the actions. The fact is the doings, or when I say what the NDBR boss have done, is it right or wrong? Totally wrong. So there's nothing to justify it, and it is good that the ICPC are going into it, looking into the case. We just believe that, unlike the normal Nigerian situation, that something productive, something good can be brought out of it. My colleague from the other side spoke about people in office not doing what they ought to do when he was talking about the whole talking about the Nigerian government and the US government, talking about the insecurity, the restriction laws and all that. But the fact that's one of the issues. That's one of the issues about the country, especially under this administration, the APC administration. So if I saw this administration, it looks like it's just this government. I'm talking about even from Buhari. We've seen how civil servants, especially those on the part of the ruling party, talking about high-handedness in office and all that. And it's good to see EFCC being selective in who they pick. But this time we have the ICPC doing this. Let's see, unlike the EFCC, they go out and do just work in respect to getting the real fact. If the allegations from Dangote is true, they should work with it. If it's not true, they should make us know, because of at this point in time they are playing a key role, more like from a point of you can say to some extent from a point of fairness. Do you understand? They can give us full facts about these allegations. Earlier, is it this morning or yesterday, there was a statement from the NNDPRA boss talking about Mr. Farouk, of which recently he came out to say he debunked it, that it was not from him, because if you can go through his statement, he was trying to say, he was trying to justify his stand based on the statement we read earlier this morning. But he has come out to say he wasn't the one that wrote that. So we are waiting to see what will come out, because he's yet to give an official response to the allegation, because those allegations are quite weighty, like really weighty. We're looking at the position he is, where he stands, and see, it goes down to what we always say, just like my colleague said, these things some of these people in office do, they can't do it in the US, they can't do it in China. I saw a picture of, I saw a post recently by the former Kano governor saying that was trying to liken Nigeria and China in a positive light. Then someone also replied and said, if you want to say it this way, then also look at leaders in China. If you are found wanting, if any corrupt leader you are found wanting, it's a death penalty. But in Nigeria, it's a different ball game. You can still see people doing things and still go scot-free. It's asking yourself questions, just like my colleagues over there said. It's rather for these people to be penalized. They are being integrated. They are being given a position or appointments, as the case may be. Just more like say, no problem, what you did the other time was good. Or you see the court saying that they should pay a fine. Therefore, for instance, someone stole billions of naira, is told to pay 100 million fine. Does that make sense? So it's quite crazy. But let's see what comes out of it. But the fact is that for for Dangote to come out with, in fact, I'm missing the write-up, it was like a full book or a full page, allegations after allegations concerning the NNPPL boss right there. So we are waiting to see what comes out of it from the ICPC. We just believe they are fair, transparent, and also stand for the part of justice. There should not be any form of sentiment or psychopathy in respect to the confronting the allegation brought up by Dangote against the NNPPL boss right there, Mr. Farouk. We're just waiting to see what happens.
All right. Thank you, Ahiz. Now let's talk to Comrade Ahiz. In fact, Ahiz started by saying, for you to see Dangote becoming an activist overnight, you know that something is happening. And this is a man that doesn't talk all the time. If he's saying anything, it's about his business.
No, he does not really talk. Dangote has, this is the very first time actually that you will see Dangote engage anybody who is in government directly. I have not seen a situation where Dangote engaged directly with anybody who is in government. Even at the height of the effort to strangulate the refinery while the former NNPC GCO Mele Kyari was in office, he actually never came face to face with the person of Mele Kyari to speak, but he could talk about some of the things the institution he oversees are doing, but he has not been this direct and personal, you know, revealing that 4 children of the chief executive officer of the NMDP is actually sponsored in a Switzerland school, and $7 million is paid in advance for the duration of their studies. You know, when people are in government, they actually see it as an opportunity to harvest. You know, harvest as much as you can, because you don't know when you will leave office. So that probably if I'm not reappointed at the expiration of my tenure, I would have paid off my children's school fees and I will go home and rest, you know, and then be able to enjoy some of the things that I may have gotten while in office. And that is exactly what most people in government do. Once they have access to executive position in government, they turn it into a meal ticket. But these days it's no longer meal ticket, it's a cash cow that they just use it as ATM card. So their office is now their ATM card. They open the vote and they pick whatever amount of money they want and they spend it as it please, as they pleases, you know. And that is the issue that we have on ground now as regards to Engineer Farouk. Engineer Farouk is you may be innocent, but the thing there is that what this the scenario really is not different from what is happening within public officials. You know, these are the things they do. We heard of the one that the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, was also accused to have paid upfront, you know, for his own children. But even though the FCC has been unable to establish whether the money was paid from government money or from elsewhere, what the truth is that this is the same scenario whereby people in office, they decide to look at the things that will be a challenge for them when they leave office. They want to settle them up front. The same thing that happened when they are carrying out their asset declaration. There is what they do in asset declaration before they leave office. Anticipated declaration. They would have declared that they have a property in a place where they are eyeing that they are going to get a property there while in office. So they will declare that the property there, and then when they now get into office, they will go there and do all manner of things. At every cost, they will buy that buy a property property exactly at that site so that it corresponds with whatever they have on their asset declaration papers. So these are the things that you see government officials do in Nigeria, and you begin to wonder, why do we live the way we live? It's because in Nigeria people don't value good names. Nobody cares about anybody's name because you were in the past, in the days of our fathers, for the mere fact that a policeman came to your house to arrest you or arrest your child means nobody is asking whether the person committed the act, but it is an eternal dent in the name of that family.
The family would even be ashamed.
The family will be so ashamed.
Yes. And you see people running everywhere.
But today somebody will be convicted by the court, and it means nothing. He will still receive chieftaincy title. It will still be celebrated. It will still be seen as a role model. And that is why people, when they get to office, they don't give a damn about anything that will happen when they leave office, because they know that the highest thing they do, they will just steal enough money, and when there's need, they will settle the officials of the anti-graft agencies. You see, why this one is ringing bell is just because it's coming from the caliber of somebody like Dangote. Otherwise, if he were any civil society organization that wrote this letter, this petition to the ICPC, I bet you that you will not hear of it. You will not even, ICPC will not even write an acknowledgement letter to acknowledge that they received any petition from you. That is what is happening.
All right, comrade. All right, he said that's true. All right, before I get to comrade now, he said that is true. You are really concurring to what comrade is saying.
That's the truth. The level of corruption in the country is on a very, very, very high rate at this point in time. And I just have to say it, even under this administration, we saw under the Buhari administration, whereby bodies of our starters defile court judgment. Good example was the EFCC case the other time, when the court said that this person should be let go, but rather the EFCC decided to hold on to this person. So you start asking yourself some crazy questions. What is really happening in the system? Are we practicing democracy, as the case may be? Just like my colleague did mention, the other guy over there spoke about office holders doing crazy things, and at the end of the day, it's more like a pat on the back instead of this person's even really scrutinized. And just like you said, lastly, if it's not from a Dangote, probably this thing would have been swept under the carpet and no one would have reacted. So that's the simple truth.
But this, the Dangote refinery has faced a lot of battles, and you can see how it was tagged petrol battlefield. But now he said something during his press statement that Donald Trump is more than happy, all right, with the Dangote refinery. What does that mean to you?
This is good. At least it's good we're hearing this from Dangote himself. For those who have been following the whole insecurity, the allegation, or rather the United States or the President of the United States saying that Christian genocide in Nigeria, they are coming to take out the bandits or the terrorists, in quotes, that's the right word they use, terrorists. And a lot of people twisted the whole narration and twisted the whole scenario and said that the United States are coming to Nigeria just because of Dangote refinery. They want to exploit the country. They had their own interior motive, and they were giving examples like, look at what happened in Libya. They forgot the fact that what happened in Libya was not really orchestrated by the United States, or we can say a Trump government, by the Trump government. It was Obama's government, for those who probably forgot history. And also we all know that it's all escalated by the France government, Sarkozy, and NATO working hand in hand to make sure that they put the Gaddafi down. But we're not talking about that. So the whole fact is that, coming from Dangote himself, the owner of the refinery, one of the biggest refineries in the world, one of the top 10 biggest refineries in the world, and the biggest in Africa, coming out to say against the narration or narrative out there that the Dangote refinery or the government of the US are against Dangote refinery, that's not true. That in fact, President Trump is in full support of the Dangote refinery. That's a good one. At least it has calmed a lot of nerves and also correct that commitment.
All right. Thank you, Ahis. I think I need to get to Comrade in the studio now. Ahis, thank you. Yes, Ahis, I'll come back. I'll come back to you because of our time. Just hold it there. Let me throw the same question to Comrade in the studio here. Ahis have said, well, the U.S. government, especially the president, is in full support of the Dangote refinery, contrary to the belief that some persons had that whatever U.S. is doing is because of our natural resources, or maybe there is something they are eyeing. What do you make of this statement by the president, as it is being said in the press conference by Aliko Dangote himself?
I can tell you that because Nigeria as a country, you know, when President Donald Trump called Nigeria that disgraced country, it is something that embodies a lot of things. There are certain things we do in this country that ordinarily we should be seeing it as a thing of shame, but we don't see them as shameful. Because we have lost our values as Africans.
We will tell you, before you become a public office holder or maybe probably a politician in Nigeria, the first thing is to maybe kill or bury your sense of shame.
That is it. That is it. You strangle it anyhow. Just make sure that the sense of shame, that moral values that we once cherished, they are no longer there. You know, as a country, Nigeria, it cannot supply Dangote refinery crude oil. You see that majority of the petrol that Dangote refinery is refining comes from the United States of America. The crude, they bring in their crude from US. So what do you expect?
Why do you have crude in Nigeria?
You have crude in Nigeria, but you cannot give to your own indigenous company cannot get crude from you. But United States is selling crude to them. Why would United States not be happy? Why would Trump would not be happy? Do you know hundreds of thousands of barrels of crude oil the United States will be exporting to Nigeria through the Dangote refinery? Why would they not be happy? You know, we in Nigeria, we have a system that we don't value what we have, and then Nigerians are people that prefer to go anti-clockwise in anything that they are doing. Anything you see us do in Nigeria, our leaders prefer the anti-clockwise. You know, and how can you not give crude oil to Dangote refinery to refine at least for domestic use, so that people within the country can access fuel at a cheaper price? Yes. But you are now allowing him to be importing crude from even Ghana here. Be importing crude from anywhere that you can find any crude oil. Dangote refinery is going there to import crude, and we have it here. Meanwhile, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gave instructions, gave an executive directive that Dangote refinery should be supplied for crude oil in Naira. At a point during the past leadership of the NNPC, they said, no, let us go and renegotiate the presidential directive. You know, it is like, we have a way of making a mess of what leadership is all about in Nigeria, and then standing logic on the head all the time. And then this same person that we are talking about, Engineer Farouk, is the one whose office is licensing importers of crude oil or refined petroleum products into the country. In fact, that's the genesis of all these issues.
All right, our time is fast spent. Before I let you go, I think we need to look at this. That is the fact that PDP, the People's Democratic Party, that has been, I don't know how to describe the situation in that party right now, but they are rallying around ex-governors and ministers for 2027. I don't know. What do you think about that? Can we now say salvation has come to PDP?
That's fast. That's the fast conclusion for me. We've not gotten there yet. I'm talking about the PDP. The state of the PDP right now is just like a hen that lost all its feathers, or almost all its feathers.
So it cannot fly.
That's what the situation.
Lost its shape.
Exactly. You understand. And talking about that, the PDP tried to rally former ministers, but the truth is that the president have done that already. I was talking to someone recently who was telling like the father is an ex-governor, and he was saying that the president has reached out to them. If you remember keenly, Olisametu said something some time ago, not so long, that the APC called him back, begged him to come back to politics, that the president used Bajabi Amila to call him back to politics. So the president has already gone ahead of them doing this. So they are more just like, it's more like an aftermath action they are doing right now. I don't know how much is going to work. And the state of the PDP, even those in your party are leaving, how can you woo people to join your party? So they are in a very, very terrible state right now. For me, that's why I say the conclusion of them of a comeback, I don't see that happen. And I said that one of our program on radio some time ago. The only salvation of the PDP is if they could get a strong contender for the next election. That's when they can bounce. But I will know that person. We will know who that person that talking about. This person must be a people-oriented person, a person the people love and all that. But besides that, to be a very difficult one for them to have a bounce back as the case may be.
All right, it's because of our time now. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me just hear from Comrade before we call it a wrap. In a minute or two, what do you think? PDP is like trying to come up, and he said the current president has gone ahead to do all of that. So I don't know.
You see, if you don't even have a home, and you are going out to invite people to come to your house, I don't understand how it is like.
The kind of description you and Ehis is giving me. Ehis said PDP is like
you don't have a
chicken without.
You don't have a home.
You said they don't have a home.
Going out to say visitors come to my house, but you don't have a home. PDP is yet up till now. PDP has no national office. So where are you going to take those people to? You are rallying them in the air or where? You see, let PDP begin to be more serious. Then we will begin to understand.
I don't know where to start from right now. If you can hear me, I don't know where to start from right now. I wish we have enough time, but then we can't turn back the hands of time. This is going to be the size of the discussion. Many thanks, Ehis, for joining us on the program, The Desk.
The pleasure is mine, Mr. Ramsey. The pleasure is mine.
Thank you very much. That's very conversational. Thank you, Comrade James, for being part of the desk. Well, that description, that's the caption. I think every other media house need to catch this PDP's description. A house, if they don't have a house, you are inviting someone. Where are you inviting them to? And he said they are chicken without feathers, so they can't fly. Every other thing is just drama on the ground.
That is it.
Well, thank you, James, for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everyone, this is the size of the desk today. It's been a very wonderful conversation and different perspective to the various headlines. We'll come on your way again. Bye-bye for now. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Good day.